What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazique, aka Unique Mazique, and I am back with the second episode of Mazique Speaks. Every Friday, 10 a.m. Central Time. Make sure you are subscribed to this YouTube channel with the notifications on. That means click that bell so that you can get an email every time I post a video, especially on Fridays, so that you can hear what happened in the week in sports video games, what I got to say about it. And also, I always try to have a nice interview for you guys. Somebody that I speak to in the sports video gaming world that can shed some light on some different things. So I'm excited about this week's guest. You already read in the title of the video that I am talking to the operating founders of the NBA 2K lab. So anybody who's deep in this NBA 2K game knows who these guys are. If you don't know their names, you know what NBA 2K lab is. And if you don't, you're going to learn today. All right. So we got a little bit to get into, not quite as much as we had last week. Last week was insane, right? It was stuff all over the place. So this week is a little bit different. So let's jump into it. We're going to lead the story off with NBA 2K. It's still the hottest thing going on right now in sports video games. And according to the MPD group, it is one of the hottest things going on in all the games. NBA 2K18 sold more copies in the United States than any other sports video game. And as a matter of fact, it was the second highest selling game, regardless of genre, in the entire United States, second only to Call of Duty World War II. Now, you know, if you second only to Call of Duty and you're ahead of Destiny, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Grand Theft Auto 5, which is obviously, y'all know, they just keep selling. It just whatever, right? You're ahead of all of those different games. You know, you have gone beyond just being the big time sports video game. And I know a lot of the 2K haters, which seems like it's grown this year more so than in previous years, are probably, you know, turning up their lips and talking crazy right now. But hey, the game absolutely is not perfect. There was definitely things I didn't like about the game this year, but somebody's buying it. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. We're going to go into this NBA 2K League Combine. So the playing windows have been expanded. So I think this was done because there was some issues where maybe some games weren't counting, which I told you guys last week. That's an absolute no-no. That's something that had to be addressed. And then also another thing that I thought was equally as bad was the fact that some gamers outside of North America were having issues with matchmaking. So as you can see on the screen right now, these are the new updated Combine playing windows as of February the 14th, Valentine's Day. So this is how 2K decided to tell you that they love you. They expanded the playing windows all the way through the 21st. So we got playing windows every single day for the rest of the way. And it's a big time amount of, the only day is February 18th, where you only got 6 hours. But man, at this point right now, it feels like everybody should have a legitimate opportunity to get their games in. So, but let's talk about the NBA 2K lab. And like I said, we're going to talk to those guys today. So we're going to talk to Mike Ellis and Sean DeWitt. Those are the operating founders of the site. Now, NBA 2K Labs, they keep statistics for and do different formulas to find out the best way to do different things in the whole NBA 2K universe. So right about now, they're jumping on the Combine because that's the hottest thing going on right now in 2K. So what I've been doing is taking the statistics that they've been posting on their website and even using somewhat of the formula that they use, which is called the lab score, and it's actually derived from the NBA's player efficiency rating. And so it's based off of that. And I've been using that, crunching these numbers to kind of look at some different things and coming up with somewhat of a ranking system. Now, it's important that I preface this information by saying this is not all inclusive. So if you have not sent your screenshotted statistics to NBA 2K Lab, they won't have them, and thus I won't have them. So if I don't mention somebody who you know for a fact has better numbers, it's because at the time when I went to press or went to record this video, those numbers weren't there, right? So it's not leaving anybody out, right? So the lab score is basically a cumulative score that takes into consideration, points, rebounds, the amount of games played. I think it's like effective field goal percentage and that different things. So like basically all of the different things that you can do that affect your team, right? So I'm putting this on the screen. I started with just the centers, right? So I'm doing positions at a time. So the top 5 lab scores, I have SickX973 here and Mike Irv, TN Prodigy, One Wild, Walnut 2K, Type is there as well. The top 5 centers are similar here to what you saw with the lab scores, so showing you how much the scoring is actually impacting. But it should be noted that McGurk, while he is scoring a lot, he's turning the ball over like 4.75 times per game. That is a pretty high number. And I know one person sent me on Twitter and they were like, hey, you shouldn't count turnovers against centers because a lot of them aren't your fault. Well, they kind of still are. And I know what you're getting at about the flawed ball security in the paint with centers, but we all know that exists, right? So you have to play accordingly. You have to change a game so that you don't get those turnovers. And it's not as if I'm comparing turnovers from centers to turnovers from other positions. So 4.7 turnovers a game is the second highest among centers, and all centers are being judged on the same scale and playing under the same rules. So if you got the second most turnovers, you still got a lot of turnovers, even all things considered, right? So it's still an even playing field from that standpoint. So now let's look at the top 5 rebounders. One Wild Walnut is a beast out here with 20 boards a game. That's insane. And I know a lot of people are talking about how the centers have been just stat sheet stuffing and how the current mode really rewards the centers and they can stack some statistics. And I feel you, but 20 rebounds a game is a lot either way. Real Bamba 11 with just under 20. I got Deadeye. He might have Deadeye, but he also got hustle rebounder, I guess, because 18.83 rebounds. T Freshy with 18.49 and Eel May Eel with 18.45. Now, this was a particularly interesting statistic for me, and it was the top 5 centers, or the centers with the most assists or averaging the most assists. D-Man Bomb leads all centers with almost 9 dimes a game. That's a lot of rebounds, a lot of assists. And he's even scoring at this point 18 points and just under 17 rebounds a game. And it's no wonder his team has won, the teams he's played on has won 29 of the 41 games he's played. Mr. Slaughter is not far behind him with 8.4 assists. Then you got King Porter 23 at 7.5. Money making Vontae at 7.3. And Sir Triple Dub with 6.89. Now, Sir Triple Dub, that's his name. I think it's important that we mention that all 5 players on this assist list, I didn't mean to rhyme that, but it rhymed, are averaging a triple-double at the combine. That's pretty significant. Now, let's talk about defensive splash plays. I kind of somewhat made that up. I'm just calling that basically cumulative blocks and steals. So you get a big block, it's a splash defensive play. You get a steal, it's obviously a splash play because you caused a change of possession. So I think that's actually pretty significant. Marley 213s is locking down on D. He is a combined 6.57 defensive splash plays. K's Gup 973, 6.2. Dylan Leonard is at 6.18. Uncle Bink is at 6.16. And Just JHD is at 6.09. Now, what about centers that shoot the 3 good? Now, I limited the list to people or centers who were averaging at least 1 3-point attempt per game, because obviously a lot of bigs are not shooting a lot of threes. But Coach I. Kesley is shooting 51% from 3-point range. And if you look at the amount of threes that he's taken well over more than 1 a game. 61 3-point attempts in 36 games is a lot at center. So he's doing that. Sud 229-4701, 45% from 3-point range. Glock shooting just under 45% from 3-point range. Raekwon Holiday is at 43.4, and Big Boss Venom is at 43 .37. Doing all of this over this amount of games, to me, says that these guys, especially with centers, have really good shot timing. So I think that that's important to note. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. We are going to get back, obviously, to the NBA 2K Lab Talk. But for now, let's talk a little bit about MLB The Show. They got new batting stances. They have new batting stances, but they also have a new batting stance creator. So now you'll finally get an opportunity to create batting stances. And the system, as you can see on the screen right now, is not super basic. Like, you might have thought that, oh man, this is not going to have too much to it. No, that's not the case. They gave a lot with this batting stance creator, and it looks to me that you can probably make just about any batting stance you want. And for people like me who like to do, classic rosters, that is really cool, because you can make a lot of stuff look really cool and have some really authentic looking classic players that you make that are maybe not on the game. Also, they have rain delays. Now, not postponements and not double headers, which I wish was in the game, but now they have rain delays. Rain delays are kind of okay, because it does force you to potentially make a decision in regards to your who's on the mound. But I think it would have been cooler for sure if you had rain delays that could turn into a postponement, which then led to double headers. That's when the strategy and the chance, the whole element of chance kicks in. And in a franchise mode, I think that would have been pretty cool. But unfortunately, it ain't in there, right? Unfortunately, that's not the only thing that is not making it into MLB The Show this year. Also, we will not see Create a Ballpark. And I really hate that, because if anybody has followed my channel, then you guys already know that Create a Ballpark is the one feature that I have been asking for from MLB The Show forever, right? And we still don't have it. It was confirmed in the latest stream from Sony San Diego Studios that that would not be in the game. And I hate it. I really do, honestly. Man, for me, like, it's been so long that and it's not just like it's me asking for it, right? Fans have been asking for this feature for a long time. And I really don't even feel that we've ever gotten a really strong explanation for why it's not in there. I do remember I spoke to Ramon Russell one year at spring training, and he said that it's been on the table every year, and they always choose at the last second or whatever not to do it. He said that one of the reasons why is because they always want to make sure that whatever feature they do it really, really well, right? Now, he told me that, I want to say, and I'm not trying to misquote him or get it wrong, I want to say this is when MLB The Show 15 was being made. I'd come out for this spring training event in Arizona. I remember I did an interview with Brandon Phillips. It was a cool little setup. And I got a chance to have some, really sit down time with Ramon Russell. And I asked him, and that's what he said. Now, that was 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And at least 3 years ago. It might have even been 14. I can't even remember exactly. But we still don't have that feature. And I know people are still asking for it. So I just want to know, what's the deal? Why is it not in there? Because I feel like it's a big deal, and it could really be something really awesome in franchise mode as well as in Diamond Dynasty. You know, can you imagine playing somebody in their own custom park in Diamond Dynasty? They'd have to obviously have some parameters set for Diamond Dynasty. I wouldn't set those same parameters for franchise mode. I think in franchise mode, you should be able to make whatever kind of field you want. But in Diamond Dynasty, you'd have some sort of, you know, guidelines where at least you can't have it where you get the green monster all the way around and all of the fences is pushed back to 500 feet. You know, nothing like that in Diamond Dynasty. Or you wouldn't even be able to have where it's 200 feet down the lines and 250 to dead center or something like that. You know, you couldn't have that either. But ultimately, you know, in franchise mode, I think I should be able to go crazy. But unfortunately, it's all just fantasy because it's not in the game. All right. I mentioned the Little Things stream. And so there's some other things that came out in that. They went through the Bandstands creator. There's new throwback uniforms. As a matter of fact, there's 19 of them. Like I said, 19 retro jerseys, including the Montreal Expos. Look at those jerseys. So that's obviously Bryce Harper, because when you pull up the retro jerseys for it, they have to be for the Washington Nationals, because of course the Expos became the Nationals. But like I said, if you're a roster creator like me, and you might want to make the all-time Expos, they can actually look like the Expos, which is great. We got an updated face scan for Mike Trout. Mike Trout used to look like a plumber all the time in all the games. Now he actually looks like Mike Trout. I mentioned the no creative ballpark, but you will also not have any new classic stadiums. So that's going to make some people mad too. Legends teams are there, but there's a new legend that was announced. Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt, is in the game. That's pretty cool. I think that's really awesome, actually. They have more major corporate sponsors in game, Nike and some others. They have some other things going on with the stadiums that they've added some personality to them. You have bleacher seats, bench seating, and there's even the Chop House in Atlanta's SunTrust Park. Minor league stadiums have been upgraded, so now you have 3D backgrounds. Before, those backgrounds were not 3D. So they showed a couple of really cool ones on the in the stream. So those are really cool. Now here's a feature that I think is nice, but I think could have been better. It's called custom practice. Essentially what it is like a situation mode, right? So you can pick any pitcher, any batter, any teams or whatever, set it up, whatever the count is, whatever you want to do, whatever point in the game, runners on base situation, whatever you want to do, right? And you can just continuously play that particular section over and over and over again to practice. Well, I think it would have been awesome if you look at the way it runs, right? And I'm showing this on the screen to you right now. You see there's no fans in the stands at all. Why? I don't know. I'm hoping this is just because it's an early build, but there's no fans in the stands. And there's no presentation, I don't believe, to this particular part of the game. I think it could have worked like a scenario mode where you could recreate some classic scenes from baseball or recreate scenes from the current MLB scene or whatever, but you can't do that because there's nobody in the stands and it's going to look stupid. So I still like the idea, but hopefully it's fleshed out more for the final build of the game. The vault has been redone and the menu system is really awesome. See on the screen, you can now scroll through the logos, the creative players, and the rosters as you're going through the vault. And you can see they have these thumbnails now, so you can actually preview what you're getting. That's awesome. It's going to help a lot for people who are searching through community creations for different things. There's new nameplates and universal profiles now, so now you can pick geographical or accomplished-based faceplates to, you know, so that you can further like individualize yourself for the people who actually use UP. That's actually all we have in regards to MLB The Show. So another game that obviously is going on and hot right now is the EA UFC 3. I don't know. I looked at the Metacritic review scores for EA UFC 3, and I was just like, I don't know what game y'all were playing, because the game is much better than the scores are indicating. Like it's got like a 77 right now for Xbox One. And I know there was an Electronic Gaming Monthly, and I actually know my guy is the one who actually reviewed it. He's a pretty cool dude, but we definitely disagree on this particular game, and I think his score is bringing the Metacritic score down quite a bit. But it's at a 777, and it's kind of crazy, right? But I did something with this one here. I went through, and if you play the game and you're looking online, as you can see, you'll see right here where that's the 4 basic attribute ratings. You know, you got the striking, the grappling, the stamina, and health, right? And you can, if you don't look any further, you can see that you'll think that's as deep as the ratings go. But if you're on the fighter select screen and you hit X, you can actually see more in-depth ratings that will really kind of help you pick a fighter according to your style a little bit better. So I did some digging to find out who were the strongest or the most powerful strikers in every weight class. And a couple of times I was a little bit surprised, like on strawweight, women's strawweight, Alexandra Albu and Jessica Andrade are the 2 with the most powerful striking ratings. They're at 92. I was not surprised by women's bantamweight, Chris Cyborg's at a 97. Men's flyweight definitely surprised me. Joseph Benavidez. Now, Jiu-Jitsu is a great fighter. The only times he's ever lost in his career is twice to Demetrius Johnson and twice to Dominic Cruz. So we're talking about he lost to 2 future Hall of Famers. That's the only guys he's lost to. But in 25 professional fights, he only has 6 KOs. So I'm trying to figure out how in the world did he get a 96 in striking power? Seems kind of strange, but that's what he's got. He's got the most striking power on the game in the weight class. I think it's weird. I think John Dodson probably should have had the most. In men's bantamweight, Cody Garbrandt and John Lineker. That's pretty logical, both at 96. Men's featherweight, Conor McGregor and Jeremy Stevens. Now, Conor McGregor might not know who Jeremy Stevens is, but it's clear the guys at EA know, because both of those guys have a 95 in strike power. Lightweight, Conor McGregor is the top guy there. He's the only guy, he's the cover guy, he's the only guy who has the top punching power, striking power in 2 different weight classes. He's in 3 weight classes, but he has the tops in 2 of them. At welterweight, it's Tyron Woodley with that 9-7. Bang, bang, bang. That's what happens when you knock out somebody rugged like Robbie Lawler with 1 punch. You get a big time striking rate. Middleweight might surprise people, but if you really think about it, it probably should. Dan Henderson's at a 98, man. Dan Henderson hits you with that H-bomb, you going night-night. You going night-night. And he's bringing it big time. Light heavyweight, Dan's right up there, but Anthony Johnson's at a 99. Anthony Johnson is slapping people's lips clean off their face. Like if he hits you, your lips fall off, hit the ground, and you got to get somebody to pick him up because you're going to be out cold. So definitely. And there's some big time strikers in light heavyweight. Chuck Liddell's a 97, Glover Teixeira's a 97, and Dan Henderson's a 98. But Anthony Rumble Johnson's a 99. At heavyweight, Francis Ngannou is the only fighter on the game with a 100 powerful striker rating in the game. That's crazy. So that doesn't feel quite as, oh my God, as I thought it was going to be, because we watched Francis Ngannou get the brakes beat off of him by Stipe Miocic at UFC 220 because he had 0 stamina and because he had no clue what to do off his back. But he can still punch. I mean, he only hit Miocic 1 solid time in the face, and Miocic's eye just went black as coal immediately. So we know the guy can strike. So that definitely is in order. So also on the subject of ratings, EA UFC 3 221 fighter updates. So this year with EA UFC, with the game, they are doing dynamic fighter updates after every pay-per-view. And I think they might be doing it after some of the fight nights. So after Yoel Romero knocked Luke Rockhold in the next week, he got an upgrade in his blocking from 91 to 92. We got Yoel Romero in blocking going from 91 to 92. They upgraded his wins, of course, from 12 to 3. Luke Rockhold's losses went to 3 to 4, which is obvious. But I think his strike defense should have gone down. The thing about Rockhold, and I'm going to get into some real sports talk real quick right here. But the thing about Rockhold is that Rockhold is, I don't know that his chin is bad as much as his striking defense is poor. Because the shots that he got hit with from Vitor Belfort, from Michael Bisping, and now from Yoel Romero were not weak punches. They were just they landed too easily. And I think Rockhold stands in the pocket too much, and he trusts himself, and he thinks he's rougher and tougher than he is. And he takes these shots and he just doesn't block hit strikes well. So I think his strike defense should have gone down. Mark Hunt goes from 11 to 12 losses. His takedown defense goes from 88 to 87 because Curtis Blades threw him around the building like he owed him money. I really agree with these upgrades for Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews against Li Jingliang, that was the best I ever seen Jake Matthews look. I was already saying Jake Matthews was so overrated, but after this, I was like, wow, this kid has gotten a lot better. His head movement went up by 5 points, 83 to 88. Chin from 86 to 88, because he did take some shots from Lee. Strike speed from 86 to 87. That was warranted. Might have even should have gone up a little bit more than that. And his submission offense from 86 to 88. And they gave him some credit for that because he probably would have tapped Li Jingliang out had the leech not dug into his eyes while to escape the submission. That should have been an instant disqualification, but it wasn't. On the prelims, we saw UFC 221, UCA Formiga, his submission offense from 94 to 95 after he choked out Ben 10 win. They maybe should have gave him a little bit more on his striking power because the spinning back fist is what set up the rear naked choke. So, but wins from 20 to 21. Ben Wynn losses from 6 to 7. His submission defense drops from 88 to 87. Okay. UFC 221 early prelims. Ross Pearson did look pretty good. Okay. Against Hiroto. Strike speed from 88 to 89. He now has 22 wins. Teruto Ishihara, I thought, won his fight, but officially it was a loss, so it goes from 4 to 5. His clinch grapple goes from 84 to 83. His strike speed from 85 to 86. And his takedown defense from 83 to 82. Now, also, as you can see on the screen now, there was a live tuner set that hit on Thursday, February the 15th. Now, according to Jeff Harrell, who is one of the main producers for the game, hooks, elbows, Superman punches, and overhands will now interrupt clinch attempts. That's a good thing. Added damage bleed through on blocked overhands. They increased the health regeneration cooldown on landed overhands, and they tuned the damage bleed through on blocks for various kicks. So that's what we got for EA UFC 3. Now, let's talk about before we go to our interview with Matt Ellis and Sean DeWitt from NBA 2K Lab. Let me tell you about what I've been doing and the things I've been playing on. There's a game called Mercenary Kings. Now, it's not a sports game, right? But I love platformers and side scrollers, right? I love them. This is my second favorite genre behind sports video games. And I've been playing Mercenary Kings, and it's a throwback game. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Picture Contra meets Mega Man kind of a thing, right? And that's the best way that I can describe it. So I'm actually going to write a review for it, and it should be out middle of next week. But if you can dig like a retro side-scrolling game with a little bit of some puzzle elements to it, you may just dig it. So you can see a little bit of it on the screen here. But yeah, it's pretty decent. Of course, been playing EA UFC 3. I'm over 200 fights online. So I've been scrapping right now. I just been playing a lot of that. Also, I backed off my career mode a little bit, but I'm probably going to get back into it next week and also get into a little bit more of the Ultimate Team. I really want to get the middleweight creative player card so that I can like put my created version of Israel Adesanya in there. So if you missed that video, I did a Who is Israel Adesanya video and showing my created version of him. And I'm actually thinking about doing a series with EA UFC 3, going through the entire roster, kind of breaking down who's who. Because not everybody knows all of the fighters, right? So I thought maybe I could be of some assistance with that. So what else am I playing? I really want to do some stuff. I got an idea of something to do with NBA 2K. It's kind of related to draft classes and so on and so forth. So that's something that I'm thinking about doing. It's not making a new draft class, so I don't want anybody to think I'm necessarily getting back into that. Still working on that Legends roster for this year. But it is something related to draft classes, and I guess a little bit of an idea that I got that will probably appear on Forbes as well as here on YouTube. So you guys stay tuned for that one. But that's pretty much it. I haven't done much with MLB The Show because we're so close to the release of 18 that, you know, especially if I started doing something with my Road to the Show guy, I'm probably going to want to change his batting stance and stuff because we can now do that. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm probably not going to touch 17 anymore until, you know, I'm just period. I'm not going to touch 17 anymore. So that's that. Haven't really been playing a lot of Madden. I've kind of been getting the itch to play WWE 2K, but I haven't played that in a while. So we'll see how that goes too. So that's pretty much all I got on my personal gaming side. So now it is time to talk to Matt Ellis and Sean DeWitt about NBA 2K Labs. Check it out. I thought it was a very enlightening conversation with two really, really bright guys. All right, as I mentioned, we have a very special interview right now. It is definitely associated with NBA 2K, NBA 2K18, the Combine, the NBA 2K League. I have Matt Ellis and Sean DeWitt on the line with me now. They are from NBA 2K Labs. And if you guys have not heard of them, you're going to want to pay attention to this, because if you consider yourself a serious 2K gamer, 9 times out of 10, these two gentlemen have something that can help you play better or even just enjoy the game more. So how you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Pretty good.
All right. So that first voice we heard was Sean DeWitt, and the second one was Matt Ellis, just so everyone can distinguish who's talking and that sort of thing. So like I said, I'm happy to have you guys here. So can you, I learned a little bit about the company over the past week as I spoke to someone who used to be affiliated with the company, but I wanted you guys to share, who are the original founders of NBA 2K Lab?
So originally there were 3 of us working on this project, and it started back right at the beginning of the 2K17 cycle. The 3 founders being myself, Matt Ellis, and then the current director of esports operations for the Pacers, Cody Parent.
Right. So that's who I met. That's who I spoke to. I've actually spoken to him on 2 different occasions. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did not know that Cody Parent was an original founder of 2K Labs. I had heard of it, and I think you guys, we had even corresponded briefly months back. Yes. But I didn't know that Cody was one of the original founders. So when I was speaking to him about the 2K Lab, about the 2K Combine and 2K League, he brought that up, and I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. So what made you guys start 2K Labs? What kicked it off?
So we've been playing 2K for a long time, 2K 13, 14, somewhere in there. And they used to tell you what all the badges and attributes did in the game. 3% increase, 4% increase, whatever it may be. Somewhere around 2K16, they stopped doing that. And we just wanted to shed some light back on what they do, because everyone was curious and there was no answers anywhere to be found.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I've even written certain pieces trying to shed some light on what it takes to get this badge, what it takes, because it was very indeterminate, you know. So these types of resources actually help gamers a lot. So you guys wanted to shed some light on, it sounds like, just like the grind.
Yeah, the grind for sure. More from a standpoint of, is the grind worth it for specific badges, and for the Hall of Fame badges in particular? Because I don't know if you remember, in 2K17, to get the Hall of Fame Dimer, which is the one that started this all, was 1,200 assists, which is just a ton of assists to get in my career.
Right.
And we'd all rather be playing Park or Pro-Am, which is an option in 18, but wasn't in 17. So we had to make that decision. We wanted to take measurements on gold versus Hall of Fame and try to come up with exact numbers on whether it was worth the effort. And then after we had done that, we felt like we really needed to share those numbers with the community. So we went to the 2K subreddit. That's where it all started. We posted it there, and it got quite a bit of traction. And so we decided, I'm a web developer by trade. So
okay,
why not make a website, throw it on the website and see where it goes.
Got it. Makes sense. Makes sense. It's funny how those types of things, how we find a way to link our technical expertise to our passions, you know?
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah, that's the dream right there, right?
Absolutely. It sounds like we're both living it. So, so it's pretty cool. So talk to me a little bit about some of the people and some of the organizations that you guys have partnered with along this journey.
So I guess I'll start with the biggest one that has come to us, and they reached out to us, was a YouTuber by the name of Call Me Agent 00.
Mm-hmm.
He messaged us at the end of the 2K17 cycle, kind of said, "Hey, like what you're doing. I have a series on myth busting in 2K. I'd love to work together on some videos." And we ended up doing about half a dozen videos with him that really helped us go from 3,000 Twitter followers and 200,000 website views to 20,000 Twitter followers and 6 million website views.
Hey, that's great. Networking always helps. So if anybody's watching this, obviously, and listening, I would absolutely advise, if you can find anybody within the, within the industry that you're interested in, especially on the YouTube side, get an opportunity to partner with them. You both can grow from it. I know Agent Zero. I've met him on several occasions. He's a really cool, really smart guy, very, very calculated, which is not always the case with some of the YouTubers, and he very much is. So this was absolutely sounded like a great move for both you and him.
Yeah, we owe a great deal of gratitude to him for helping us really get our name out there and our brand out there for lots of people to see.
Absolutely. Now, are there some businesses, some actual companies? Obviously he's a sole proprietor of sorts because of his YouTube channel, but are there like some different companies that are maybe similar to you? Because what I call what you guys do 2K analytics, right? That's just a term I came up with on my own. I don't know how comfortable you guys are with it, but that's kind of the way, huh?
We like to throw that term around as well.
Okay, 2K. So I thought I made it up. See, you just took it away from me.
I think it's actually in our Twitter profile.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's really that's what I think of it. Where 2K analytics or 2K advanced statistics. That's really what I think is a very good way to describe it. So obviously you guys have already done that. But are there other companies who do something similar that you are partnered with? Because I saw something on your website. I saw I'm trying to remember the name exactly of how they're worded. It's the NBA 2K badge grinding. I guess it's like legit grinders and 2K GOAT grinders.
Yeah, so they will for people that want to make a new character but don't want to put in the work to get all the badges for it, those services will do the badge grinding for you. Go get the badges. Okay.
I got it. So, wow, it's crazy, when we are creating shortcuts.
Yes.
Within gaming, it's just amazing when we're at that point. But like, we just put out something today, and it kind of started to circulate. The information was out there a little bit earlier, but NBA 2K18 was the second highest selling video game, regardless of genre, in 2017. And it was the #1 selling sports video game. So these are the type of subcultures and things like that are generated when you have a game that's as successful as 2K. So yeah, that is crazy. Are there any other partnerships, or are you thinking, I shouldn't say are there any other, are you looking to expand with other partnerships, or are you kind of just good where you are right now?
Right. So unfortunately, I don't think you're going to love my answer. We are working or attempting to work with a software company.
Okay.
But everything is under an NDA at this point. So
okay,
we are legally not allowed to talk about it.
Hey, you know what? I understand, but it sounds exciting.
Yeah, we're very excited about it.
Yeah, it sounds really, really cool. And as soon as it's not under NDA anymore, make sure I'm among the first people to know. I would love to spread the word. The world. Absolutely, I love to spread the word for you guys. All right, so let's talk about the NBA 2K League, the 2K Combine. The whole nine. I've spent a decent amount of time on your website today, and the first day that I actually found this, which is the day I hit you guys up about, hopefully coming on the show and talking about this. The lab score, right?
Yes.
So you guys have come, and I'm a formula guy myself, right? So I create a formula for just about everything, like, some way to come up with the best this or the best that, with taking, cumulative statistics and that sort of thing. So when I saw what you were doing, I thought it was so awesome. And I let you know now I'm planning an article that is based purely on your statistic. Based off of the NBA 2K Combine. As a matter of fact, by the time everyone watches this video, that article may already be out. But I'm gonna let you guys explain, because it's your thing, what the lab score is and what it's made to measure.
Okay. So we actually just recently today updated the formula. We use a formula that we've written ourselves. It's not too incredibly complex. It takes weighted averages for your stats, the stats that you can provide us from the screenshot in the game, from the combine, and it weights the relevant stats to the position that you play to kind of come up with a way to rank the players. So for example, for a point guard, we're going to rank assists per game much higher than we would on, say, a center.
Right.
And on a center, we're going to weight rebounds per game and blocks per game much higher. So for a point guard, where you give 1.5 points per assist, 1 point for a basket or a point, I guess, and 1 point for a rebound, 1 point for a block, steal. Well, okay, 2 points for a block, 2 points for a steal. We add it all together, and it spits out one nice, pretty number that we can then rank players by. And I can provide you a screenshot of the whole score if you'd like to put it on the screen then.
Absolutely, it's on the screen right now. So yeah, absolutely. So definitely that would be something that would absolutely be helpful. So here's the thing, and here's why I think this is so cool and so useful right now to people in the media who are looking to cover the NBA 2K League and Combine before things get super official. And also why I think it's good for fans and even people who are attempting to qualify. Right now, what you guys have is the closest thing to official statistics that are available for this stage of the 2K League qualifying. And it's very valuable right now if you're using it the proper way. And if you're putting it out to the people the way you guys are. So I think you guys are doing a great job with that. And it does it's not all inclusive, obviously, because the players have to actually send you screenshots of their statistics, right?
Correct.
So
and if you want to send us a screenshot, we want them on Twitter. You can send them to our DM or just mention us in a comment, and we will add you to our table.
Absolutely. I believe once I think I tweeted the message out. I don't know how many people you got after I did that, but I sent it out, and I know one particular gentleman who I was very impressed with when I watched him play. Stay in tune. I think his PSN is I Got the Juice. He sent his in, and I was just looking on the site today, and I was seeing how highly ranked he was as a point guard. So it kind of made me feel good because I was looking at his game and I'm like, this guy has the goods. And I wasn't even looking at statistics when I was making this determination. So it looks like, based off of the players that I have seen play, it looks like it's a very effective formula. And it looks like it is working to put the top and the best performing players at the top of the list when it comes to lab score. So as you guys can see, it's on the screen right now. There are some really cool sortable columns here. So if you want to find out which center is averaging the most assists per game, which center has the best assist to turnover ratio, you can find that out. Whatever you want to do by position, you can find it out. I think it's very, very helpful. I'm personally, glad that you guys created it, because it really is just creating content for everybody who's interested in the 2K League, to be honest.
It's our goal to continue to add maybe 200 to 300 people to the table every day for the rest of the combine, assuming we continue to get the screenshots. We're willing to put in work if we have the content.
So how many screenshots are you guys getting per day right now?
The first day we put it out, we got about 500. We ended up having to throw all those out because we wanted the expanded view of the stats so that we could create the larger table.
Okay.
And so we put out another tweet asking for more, and we got most of those same 500 back. So
got it.
We're easily sitting on, I think we have 300 or 400 in the table already. We have 100 or 200 backed up that we can't keep up with.
Okay.
We're trying to keep up, but they're coming in fast.
Yeah. I mean, that's great, man. It's always great when business is coming in fast, that fast, you know what I mean? And content is being generated that fast. So ultimately, what part do you want to play in the NBA 2K League? Like, ultimately, what's your goal? What do you guys want to be to the 2K League?
And Matt may have to speak for himself on this one, but I see our company as someone that can provide advanced scouting for a team. And we would only want to work with one team, whichever team that may be, to scout all of your opponents and find their tendencies, find your own players' tendencies, and give your team kind of an edge over the competition, because like you said earlier, there's not a lot of 2K analytics companies out there. So if we can be that and we can prove value to your team, we would love to play that role.
Right. It's really cool, because if you're looking at it, it's almost like you guys are the Daryl Morays or the Hollinger, John Hollinger for with the Memphis Grizzlies. Really introducing.
We modeled our lab score off of the game score that Hollinger came up with.
Yes, per the player efficiency rating, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's pretty awesome, man, to really make this type of an imprint on a virtual sport like this, that's really I mean, it's inspiring, if you really want to know the truth, because and I hope that there's some young person that's listening, really young person listening to this, and just seeing how you can create something from yourself within someone else's creation. It's very inspiring to me, at least. So I hope you guys are really understanding, what type of example and inspiration that you are to other people, just by simply creating something that you're going to benefit, obviously, from yourselves.
Feels good to have you say that, because we spent over a year of doing this with little to no following. So
yeah,
to be recognized feels pretty good.
Absolutely, man. You guys have earned it. You have put in the work. You can clearly see it when you look at the data. So I am looking forward to touching base with you guys again, closer to the draft itself, or closer to the draft itself and closer to the beginning of the NBA 2K League season. Perhaps at that point, you guys will have already established a deal or some sorts with a team in the NBA 2K League, and then maybe we'll have different things to share and talk about. But Matt and Sean, I truly appreciate you guys taking time out to talk to me today, and I wish you nothing but the best moving forward. All right, that's all we got for this week's show. Man, I appreciate every single person who has watched this video and who is going to watch it, and everybody who's going to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, do it right now. And also, I need you to double jab, left hook, overhand right that like button, so that I'll feel loved, and so that we can keep this flying and keep this going. As always, I appreciate you watching. God bless and peace.